On the Vanity of Earthly Greatness by Arthur Guiterman. The tucks which clashed in mighty brawls of mastodons are billiard balls. The sword of Charlemagne the just is ferric oxide, known as rust. The grizzly bear, whose potent hug was feared by all, is now a rug. Great Caesar's bust is on the shelf, and I don't feel so well myself. This is the poem on the Vanity of Earthly Greatness by Arthur Guiterman. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Bachelor and Master English. Today, as you have heard already, we are talking about a poem on the vanity of earthly greatness. In our today's discussion, we shall be dealing with the summary. There will be discussion in Nepali, followed by critical analysis. Literary devices will be explored here, and there will be discussion of the theme of this poem as well. Finally, there is a reader's review. I am sure you will accompany me till the end of the video. If you are new to my channel, I request you heartily, please subscribe my channel, and if you think this channel is worth watching, please recommend your friends and fellows that will be moving ahead in a smooth way, and I will be back with more other important videos for your learning or visual lessons. Okay, so let's go with the summary of the poem. The poem on the vanity of earthly greatness means to say that the greatness we want to have in this world is valuation, because everything in this world uses its value and greatness after its time is over. It describes what happens to powerful people and animals after they die. The poet shows how greatness or powerful anything is anyway, it continues only for a short span of time. The poet has presented certain examples which all prove the same theme. Mastodon tucks are turned to billiard balls, grizzly bears are turned into rugs, the sword of great king becomes rusted, the great rulers are turned into statues which may be preserved as monuments or left in broken or ruined state. In the concluding line of the poem, the poet hints that his own greatness as a poet will also be short-lived. There will be no longevity of his popularity. Okay, this is all the discussion of the summary in English. Now let us discuss the summary in Nepali, and there will be analysis. संसारिक महानताको व्यर्थता. यो कविता अर्थर गिटरम्यानले लेखेको जम्मा 8 हरफको फुटकर कविता हो. यसमा दुई हरफका 4 श्लोक गरेर 8 हरफमा चाहिँ यो रचिएको छ. यसले सांसारिक शक्ति र त्यसको सिर्जना गर्ने भयो वा त्रास क्षणिक भएको हुँदा त्यसको उपासना गर्नु व्यर्थ रहेको, त्यसको चर्चा गर्नु व्यर्थ रहेको, त्यसबारेमा आफूले चाहिँ यस्तो भएको उस्तो भएको भनेर घमण्ड गर्नु व्यर्थ रहेको भन्ने कुरा प्रश्न पारेका छन्. उनले भनेका छन्, मान भन्ने मानिसहरूका शक्तिशाली हतियार खियाले समाप्त हुँदैछन्. पृथ्वी नै थर्काउने गरी चाहिँ लडाईँ लडेका यी हात्ती प्रजातिका ठुला अहिले लोप भइसकेका जनावरहरूका ती हस्तिहाडहरू अहिले बिलियर्ड्सका गोटी बनेका छन्. त्यो डरलाग्दो भालुका त्यो रौँ अहिले हाम्रो ओछ्यानमा ओड्ने न्यानो ओड्नको लागि चाहिँ रग बनेको छ. अब हेर्नुहोस् न संसार के भएको छ. ठुला ठुला महान यी नेताहरू सम्राटहरूका पहिचान, तिनीहरूको शक्ति अहिले चाहिँ शालिगमा परिणत भएको छ. कसैको अर्धकदको, कसैको पूर्ण कदको. त्यो पनि शालिगको दुर्दशा भएर कतिपय शालिगहरू चाहिँ दराजका तख्ताहरूमा राखिन अथवा तिनीहरूको चाहिँ ती ठुला ठुला सम्राटहरू आफ्नो शालिग दराजका तख्तामा चाहिँ लुक्न बाध्य भएका छन्. यस कविताको मुख्य भाव के हो त भन्दा, सबै चिजको एक दिन सकिने अथवा समाप्ति आउँछ. सबै चिज एक दिन नाश हुन्छन् र कुनै पनि व्यक्ति वा वस्तु अजम्बरी हुँदैन. सांसारिक शक्ति हेर्दा जस्तो देखिन्छ त्यस्तो छैन, र कसैले पनि ठुलो महान शक्तिशाली भनेर अनावश्यक चर्चा परिचर्चा गर्नु र त्यसैमा आफूलाई चाहिँ गर्व गर्नु आवश्यक छैन. कुनै पनि कुरा चर्चामा वा शक्तिको शिखरमा सदा रहन सक्दैन. समय नै त्यस्तो बलवान शक्ति हो जसले राजालाई साधु र साधुलाई सम्राट बनाइदिन्छ. संसारको सबभन्दा शक्तिशाली जे छ त्यो समय छ, अरू उपलब्धिहरू अरू जे छन् नि ती क्षणिक हुनाले कसैले पनि घमण्ड गर्नु व्यर्थ हुन्छ भनेर शक्तिको पछि नलाग्न र समयको वास्तविकता बुझ्न कविले सम्पूर्ण पाठक र यो अध्येताहरूलाई अनुरोध गरेका छन्। खासै उनी युद्ध विरोधी छन्। यो युद्ध अनि त्यसबाट आउने परिणामहरू ठुल्ठुला ती चाहिँ म्यास्टोडोनहरूका चाहिँ ती हस्तिहाडहरू अहिले बिलियर्डका बल बन्न पुगे, भुत्ते भालुको रौँ ओड्ने रग बन्न पुग्यो, महान शक्तिशाली सम्राट चाहिँ तरवारहरू खियाले समाप्त हुने अवस्थामा पुगे, महान नेताहरूको स्मृतिमा बनेका शालिग दुरावस्थामा पुग्यो हुँदाखेरि कविले पनि कसैको आशामा आफ्नो चर्चा परिचर्चा होला भन्ने जुन आशा गरेका थिए नि त्यो पनि क्षणिक हो। मेरो पनि जुन चर्चा परिचर्चा छ त्यो लामो समयसम्म रहँदैन भनेर उनले आफै महसुस गरेका छन्। यसरी चाहिँ समयको महत्त्व र चाहिँ यो सांसारिक चर्चाको व्यर्थताको बारेमा चाहिँ कविले छोटो कवितामा एकदम प्रभावकारी रूपमा एकदम अब सबैलाई सन्देश दिने तवरले यसलाई प्रष्ट पार्न खोजेका छन्। ओके, द्याट्स अल विथ द डिस्कसन अफ दिस पोम इन नेपाली। नाउ लेट्स गो विथ द क्रिटिकल एनालिसिस। The poem talks about the uselessness of earthly greatness and the effects that time has on our history. The talks of the powerful mastodons have become just playthings. The shining sword of brave Emperor Charlemagne has now rusted. The fearful grizzly bear has turned into a rug, and the great Roman Emperor Julius Caesar's bust is on the shelf. Likewise, all the greatness of human beings and animals have become worthless. So is the poet's popularity. The speaker makes reference to two great leaders, which suggests that he is also in a position of power. Then he hints at the vanity of all pride, pelf, power and position. The poem is very reflective and internal, so the speaker would most likely to be thinking this or confiding in someone. He is expressing that we people, what we think are not so much powerful as we think we are, like all mighties, colossus to vanish, our power will also result the same. I still see this as a poem about futility of conflict. Fighting behemoths are dead and gone. Weapons of mighty are rusting. Nature's fighters are overcome, and so are the generals. Man, who is more vicious to his fellows than anything in nature, has devised. Man who is more vicious to his fellows than anything in nature has devised is finally realizing that he is a sick species. Of course, that is only my interpretation and has no more validity than anyone else. The man had a gift for writing unpalatable truths with a laugh in the tail. In a nutshell, it is a superb anti-war or anti-violence poem with a good laugh in it, and all within 8 well-written lines. Now let's see the literary devices. The Vanity of Earthly Greatness by Arthur Guiterman is a poem that discusses the mortality of earthly things in 4 stanza poem with 2 lines each. In this short composition, poet uses different literary devices to make it more humorous with its comedic elements. The vanity actually means the degrading value of reputations of any persons and animals in the world. Everybody becomes great in his time and situation, but later on he becomes helpless and valueless. Through humor, he has tried to depict the reality of human beings and animals caused by the change in time. His conclusion, all reputation and achievements will be dismissed quickly. The figures of speech like alliteration, allusion, onomatopoeia and irony. So, the first one is alliteration. It is a repetition of consonant sound at the beginning of more than one word in a line of poetry, as the repetition of bow sound in billiard balls. Allusion here, it is a reference typically brief to a person, place, thing, event or other literary work with which the reader is presumably familiar. Charlemagne the Just, an early medieval emperor, ferric oxide from chemistry, Julius Caesar, Roman statesman and ruler, are such references used in the poem. These allusions are used, it means that the reader is always familiar with them, they have been used there. Another rhetoric figure here is, or figures of speech here is onomatopoeia. It is a figure of speech in which words evoke the actual sound of the thing they refer to or describe. Clash echoes the sound during the mighty brawls of mastodons. Okay. And here is irony. Irony is a figure of speech in which words are used to show the opposite of what they appear to mean. In other words, irony is the gap between what the reality is and what it appears to be. This poem is ironical in the sense that it is not about the greatness, but it is about the weakness. Mastodons are not mighty or powerful, bear is not potent, but in fact their power is short-lived. In this way, the poem is ironical. It states the vanity of earthly fame and power in an ironic sense. The irony is in fact pervasive throughout the poem and is captured in each last phrase in the first three couplets and in the first line in the last couplet. Okay. Now, let us go with the theme. The theme or central idea of the poem. Everything decays and nothing lasts. Earthly power is not as great as it seems. One should not only value earthly greatness. The main theme of this poem is that it is useless to be proud of our earthly greatness and achievements. These things are not permanent. The only permanent thing is time. Everything else, including our earthly greatness and achievement, has to bow before time. Nothing remains in the peak of its power forever. Time is the leader which can make a sage the king and vice versa, or sage can be a king or king can be sage. That is what is called vice versa. So, we should not be proud of our achievement because every achievement is temporary and the poet's popularity is, of course, it cannot be different. And finally, here is reader's review with the text. Arthur Guiterman's poem on the vanity of earthly greatness is a lyric with simple rhyming couplets. It speaks of beast and great men, of mastodon and bear, Charlemagne and Caesar, all of which people readily associate with greatness. The bouncy rhythm and simple rhyme, along with the objects, give the poem a light-hearted, playful tone. Each couple presents an irony that the great mighty die and become a common thing. The tucks that clashed in mighty brawls of mastodons are billiard balls, line 1 and 2. Furthermore, Charlemagne's sword becomes rust, line 3 and 4. A grizzly bear is now a rug, lines 5 and 6. The final couplet personalizes the theme. Great Caesar's bust is on the shelf and I don't feel so well myself. That is in the concluding couplet, that means line 7 and 8. So, this is all with the discussion of on the vanity of earthly greatness by Arthur Guiterman. I am sure you got the points, and if you have any queries you can put your ideas in my comment box. I shall be back with other important educational videos. Till then, have a nice time.